I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, the Black Business School, and I am here. I'm going to do some stuff a little different this time in terms of how I go live. I'm going to try an experiment that hopefully will allow me to bring in callers or speakers or listeners or anybody that has something that they'd like to say, something you'd like to share. If you give me a second, I'm going to see if I can make this work. Anyway, how's everybody doing today? Tell me how your life is and tell me what's going on with you. Believe me, I've got a whole lot of stuff I want to tell you guys about because it's I kind of felt compelled to make sure that I tell the community kind of what's been happening in the face of the stuff that's been going on. You see that there's a lot of conversation in the national media about what happened with those kids down on the border. And you see my position. My position has never been that those kids don't matter. My position has been that those kids don't matter more than our kids. And really, if you want to go to another extreme, you could say our kids matter more than kids that are not part of our country, in the sense of, in terms of where national priorities should be, where national resources should be. You don't take care of other people's kids before you take care of your own. That's parenting 101. We know this. We know this, and I've been very vocal about it. And apparently, it's enough to get your video blocked from YouTube. There was a lot of conversation on Capitol Hill about how a lot of social media platforms were blocking points of view that are not popular, particularly anything that even sounds like it could be conservative. I am not a conservative. I'm not a liberal. I'm just a black man. So if you try to put me in those boxes, what's going to happen is you're always going to sound stupid and you're going to sound confused, because you're going to say, Dr. Boyce ain't nothing but a bleeding heart liberal. That's what the people on the right will say. And then somebody else will say, Dr. Boyce ain't nothing but a conservative. He must be a Trump supporter. And that's what people say when they don't know anything about, what I talk about and how I discuss topics. No, I'm a scholar. I'm a scholar and I'm a black man. And also I'm a father. And so all these things come into play in terms of how I feel about various topics. There is no box you will ever catch me in. You will never catch me agreeing with liberals just because it's the liberal thing to do. You will never catch me agreeing with conservatives because it's the conservative thing to do. I'm a little bit of everything. And so what happens is every idea that comes to me, every thought, I process it independently and I say, does that make sense? And then if it doesn't make any sense, I'll say, man, that shit don't make no damn sense. I'm not supporting that bullshit. And then I'll go with where my heart takes me, and I think that that's where we should all be, but I don't think we live in a world that supports that. I think that we have a lot of black people who don't know who they are, who are sort of going along with bandwagons. And I don't think bandwagons are the way to go. Bandwagons will not get you ahead. So let me tell you what's going on with that. All right. So just so you know, I actually set up my phone. So those of you who are on the phone version of my Facebook feed, and it's hard for you to tell, but you can actually hit a button if you want to actually come in and make a comment or something like that. That way you can actually come in and say something real quick. I just ask people to keep it short so that we can make sure everybody gets a chance to talk. So here's what happened. Here's what went down. Let me tell you what happened yesterday. I did a video that expressed what was really my perspective on all this bullshit going on with the whole conversation about putting kids in cages and all that, which is not actually really the complete truth. There's actually a lot of fabrication happening on both sides. A lot of people, liberal and conservative, that are kind of exaggerating the truth. A lot of people that are not being honest, etc. Anyway, the problem I had with what was going on was not that kids on the border don't matter or that children from other countries don't matter. It was this. Look, you got these kids that came over with their parents who chose to break another country's laws. They broke into another country, just like me breaking into your house, just like me breaking, waiting till you ain't home and trying to break up in your crib and take your stuff. So they broke into another country. They got stopped at the border. And as a result, the kids and the parents were separated. Why? Well, they were separated because their parents broke the law. Now, my concern had always been that I know a lot of black people whose parents broke the law, and their children were separated from their parents because their parents broke the law. And in the case of black people, when you say, well, wait, that's not right. You know, these kids are traumatized. This is terrible. You're doing this to hundreds of thousands of kids, if not millions. It fell on deaf ears. You know, the conservatives always said, you know, like, oh, well, they shouldn't have been breaking the law. You should follow the law, and then it won't happen to you. The liberals actually went as far as Hillary Clinton calling black kids, these black children, super predators. Y'all remember that? When Hillary Clinton labeled the black children as super predators? If you remember that, let me know. Say something. And so, anyway, now fast forward to 2018, and you got, you know, this situation at the border where these people try to break into the country illegally. They got caught. The children are kept away from the parents. And now everybody's acting like this is such a horrible tragedy. And this is just so unacceptable. And this is so devastating and so traumatizing. And why would anybody ever put a child through something like that? It's so devastating for the child. And I was like, what's devastating about it? It's not that it's not bad, but are you upset because these children are being treated like niggers? Is that what it is? Like, because when they were doing it to black kids for hundreds of years, it wasn't a problem. It was cool. It was like, okay, yeah, you know, shoot, break the nigga away from his parents. He's better off without his parents. You ever see how many black mamas lose their babies to child protective services because she got caught smoking weed, or the daddy spanked the child to try to keep his little ass in line, and next thing you know, they're writing him off as an abuser and took him out of the household and said, well, little Paquan, you're better off without your father. And little Paquan's looking at you like, bitch, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. Like, I'm not better off without my dad. I need my dad. I love my dad. He's the only one that cares. I know y'all don't care about me. I can tell you what, if you went back to when I was a little kid, I had a very tough father. And if you had come up in there, if some white liberal person had come up in there saying, we're going to take the children away from this horrible man because he's got toxic masculinity, I probably would have turned into a criminal. I would have probably become eventually suicidal. I would have been incredibly lost and unhappy. But that's what you would call paternalism. That's white liberal paternalism. Ever since they went to Africa and got you to trade religion for food and all this other nonsense they did, they pretty much have always felt that they know what's better for you than you do. They've always felt they know what's better for your kids than you know. So anyway, so fast forward, now the immigrant kids are being treated like black kids, they're being treated like niggas, basically. And everybody's acting like this is an outrage. There was a little fund that they put up. I'm not even talking about like a Red Cross fund or some national charity or some big foundation. This was like Mike Wilson and his wife Sarah, some random ass people on Facebook put up a little fund to help immigrant children, a few hundred immigrant children who were separated from their families. Guess how much money they raised? Guess. They raised like $15 million in like a week. Not even a week, like 4 days. They had $15 million in this fund. Now I'm gonna ask you that question. I wanna ask you this question. What if they put together a fund for black children, all the millions of black, not, you're not talking about a few hundred or a couple thousand, you're talking about millions of black children. So literally millions of black children versus a couple thousand kids from another country. If Mike and Sarah had set up that same fund and said, we want to raise money for all the black children who've been separated from their parents, how much money do you think that fund would have raised? It probably wouldn't have hit the quadruple digits. They probably wouldn't have broke $1,000. They might get like 2,000, maybe 3, maybe even 10 if somebody's really feeling it. But they wouldn't raise them $15 million, nothing close to that. And so anyway, so what's been going on with this situation on the border? It's been pissing me off. It pissed off me, a lot of black people I know. I heard Kenny Gamble speak on this issue. God bless him for that. He's with IBuyBlack.org in Philadelphia. They're actually co-sponsoring the All Black National Convention this year. If you want to come out, it's in September. It's allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. You should come out. Anyway, Kenny Gamble spoke on it. The ladies at Fly Nubian Queen spoke on it. My daughter spoke on it. And I'm so happy that we have some black people out here that are trying to tell the truth. They're telling the truth in a sea of lies. They're telling the truth in a sea of ignorance and stupidity. Fortunately, we have these few lights out here that actually are telling the truth, because a lot of people are telling a bunch of lies. A lot of black folks are misled. You got a lot of black folks out here that really think they're white. They really want to be white liberals. Like deep down, they wish, you wish you were Rachel Maddow or somebody, some white person on TV, maybe another white person like Melissa Harris Perry or something, and you don't know who you are. And so anyway, so the reason that we're talking about immigrant babies who've been inconvenienced for 2 weeks because their parents broke the law, and the country isn't talking about Antoine Rose, who was shot in the back in Pittsburgh, is because Antoine's black. Let me shut this down. Sorry about that. Okay. So anyway, let me get to my point here. So here's what happened. So I went into social media and I talked about it. I talked about it on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is pretty big. It has about 300,000 subscribers, about 285, something like that. I talked about something that I saw on television where Rachel Maddow had basically gone out of her way to be extra white when it came to these kids. Like she literally was being extra white. And when I say extra white, I'm referring to the fact that white people tend to care more about immigrants and their dogs than they care about black people. Not all of them, not everybody. I'm talking about most of the white liberal clan in terms of what would get the most attention. Which one do you think would get the most outrage from white liberals? Compare the two. A black boy murdered, by the cops for no reason, or a dog who was starved to death and beaten up and abandoned and molested or something. Let's say somebody got caught like fucking a dog, right? Like which one do you think would, if they went to raise money for either the dead black kid or the abused dog, which one do you think would raise the most money? It would be the dog. Now, this is nothing new. America's been like this for a very long time. Ever since slavery, you were always considered 3/5 of a human being. Remember that. Never forget that. And so, because you're considered subhuman, this is where this comes from. This is why Rachel Maddow and her racist ass. She's liberal and white, but she's racist. I mean, but she can't help it. It's a disease she was infected with. That's why they will cry over these these kids that they don't even know. These kids that don't even live in the country. But when it comes to black kids, it's like, yeah, it's kind of bad. Not to say she wouldn't advocate for it, not to say she wouldn't support the cause, but the amount of energy that someone like her would put into a situation with black people is minimal, whereas the amount of energy they might put into, say, immigrants is maximal. And again, Dr. Claude Anderson speaks on this every week. He talks about how immigration policy has been used to fool black folks into supporting something that has been designed to be directly against their interests. At the turn of the century, black people had a lot more voting power. He said, right now, your vote don't really count. Right now, you ain't nothing but 10%. You about 10% of the population. Right now, your vote don't really make much of a difference at all. Whereas back at the turn of the century, your vote literally made a difference. You had the majority in a lot of states were majority black. But what they did was they shaped immigration policy to keep free black people out of the country and to bring as many Europeans in as possible. Then they started bringing in people south of the border so they could take certain jobs. And they've never really been open as far as immigration policy with black people. In fact, with these immigrant children that have been, separated from their parents, I bet you this: if those children were black, you wouldn't see nearly as much outrage. If those children were black, just again, it's not so much a white folks' fault. You can't help it. You were born this way. They made you this way. But the amount of outrage expressed over this would be far lower than what you're seeing right now. So anyway, let me share my screen. I'm gonna show you guys a couple of things I want you to see. First of all, don't forget, we actually have a social media. If you're sick of Facebook and YouTube censoring you and all that, we actually have a social media platform called Blag Enough. So if you want to join Blag Enough, here's how you spell it: BLAGGENUF.com. You can join that platform. It's great because when I put content up there, I don't have to worry about anybody blocking it, anybody taking it down, anybody telling me what we can and cannot say. Also, make sure you hit the like button, share button, subscribe button, so that more people in the community can hear conversations like this, because we get an OD'd on ignorance, so why not get some intelligence thrown in there too? Black intelligence isn't as popular as ignorance, but I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna fight the good fight. So I want you to look at these pictures real quick with me. Now this is Rachel Maddow from MSNBC. and this is her crying, you know, for the little kids from south of the border, that she wouldn't be crying for them if they were black. And what I want to do is I want to pull up another picture so you can kind of see it from different perspectives, because she did a lot of crying, and a lot of people think it was fake crying. I don't know if it was fake or if it was real. It just really looked stupid to me, and it looked incredibly hypocritical, because you know, nobody's dying, nobody's being killed, and also on top of that, you know, again, you know, if you look at the arguments that are used to justify the deaths of black people, I mean, remember with Trayvon Martin, they were justifying his murder because he smoked weed or something. I think they tried to say he smoked weed one time, and that made him into a homicidal maniac or something. I don't know what they said that was stupid. But here's some of the pictures of Rachel. If you can't see it, if you're on Instagram, you can't see the picture, but I'll go ahead and just share it for you guys that can't see it. And so this is her just kind of, you know, caping and crying. And so what happened was yesterday I did a video talking about that. I basically just called it for what it was. It's bullshit. I called Rachel for what she is, which is a racist. I basically spoke up on what's going on with this whole liberal outrage over these kids on the border, but no outrage whatsoever, no concern whatsoever, nobody caring at all about what's going on with black children right here in this country. You know, and you know, and the fact is that for them, the consequences were selective. They chose to be in this situation. Their families did. And also, it's not life or death. They're not going to die in any of these cages. If one child or one person were to die in any of those detainment centers that they're keeping people in, those Walmarts or wherever they're keeping the kids at and the families at, if one person were to die, it would be the biggest story in the world. But understand this: black children, black families, black parents die every day in the criminal justice system for minor nonviolent crimes, and nobody talks about it at all. Every single day, right now, today. I'm sure if you look around far enough and wide enough, somebody died today as a result of a black family being separated and a black parent being taken away to jail or to prison. So basically, you know, when I look at Rachel, you know, I was gonna call her Rachel Dolezal, but she might as well be called Rachel Dolezal because she's a big fake too. So I'm looking at Rachel Maddow, and it's like, oh my God, this poor baby is just gonna die. Oh my God. Right. So she's sitting there crying, you know, just like literally really putting on the act. And I want you guys to see it. I'm gonna flip the camera so some of y'all can see it. So you see it, like, I mean, listen, look at her. I mean, you know, and it's really fascinating to me just watching people. I don't know if y'all been watching or listening to the media. Every time you turn on any sort of news station on the radio, from NPR to anything else, all they're talking about are these damn kids. Like literally, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me, anybody remember Elian Gonzalez? Remember that Elian Gonzalez thing where they had the whole country acting like that one little boy was like the most important child in the universe? Like, it reminds me of Elian Gonzalez. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of that time when that little boy was like literally the center of the fucking universe, when there are like thousands of kids that are going through far worse that y'all ain't paying no damn attention to. It kind of shows that a lot of the news really is, to some extent. You talk about fake news, well, shit, a lot of it is very fake. It's all orchestrated. I mean, you cannot argue in any logical way that this should have been the most important story this week. It was dumb, it was crazy, it was stupid. So I put the video up, and next thing I know, I'm getting a notification from YouTube. Now, I put this up, right? Black folks love it. Black folks are agreeing with what I'm saying. Black folks are hearing me. Even the people who don't agree with me 100% are hearing me, because you know my heart's in the right place. You know that I'm saying these things because I'm actually trying to help the community. I'm trying to do something supportive for black people. Now, let me show you what I got from YouTube when this video went up. So the video goes up, thousands and thousands of black people are watching this, thousands of people are agreeing. The thumbs up were probably, you know, I think maybe, let's say it had 1,000 thumbs up and it had like 20 thumbs down. Like, so black people are loving this. So I get this notification from YouTube saying the video was flagged by the YouTube community. Upon review, we have placed restrictions on how the video will be shown. Please note that your video will continue to be available on YouTube. Well, thank you very much, white people. I appreciate that. Video content restrictions. So they say, we believe in the principles of free speech, even when that speech is unpopular or potentially offensive to some viewers. However, YouTube does not allow hate speech or content that promotes or incites violence. I didn't throw out any hate speech. I threw out black love. But y'all so screwed up. Y'all think black love must be hatred of white people. I don't hate nobody. I'm just saying I ain't falling for your bullshit. I'm not gonna let you ignore my kids. Black kids matter as much as white kids. period. Black kids matter as much as immigrant kids. So anyway, so in some cases, flag videos that do not clearly breach the community guidelines, but whose content is potentially controversial or offensively may remain up, but some features are disabled. Your video will be shown after a warning message. In addition, certain features such as comments, sharing, thumbs up, and suggested videos have been disabled. So that means you go watch my video, which you can if you want. It's on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Dr. Boyce Watkins, if you want to watch it. And make sure you subscribe, by the way, if you're on the channel. In fact, I'll be talking about it on the channel anyway, because I think it's interesting for you guys to see the shit that we get. Like, we get constant. The reason we created Black Enough was because we were getting crap like this all the time. Like, we literally are all the time getting notifications saying that your stuff is too controversial or it's racist. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? All she did was quote Malcolm X, and you talking about that's not suitable for advertisers, and that must be racist, and that must be whatever. I mean, this is white supremacy 101. White supremacy is not, you know, necessarily a matter of it being embedded in the hearts and minds of people and whether they like black people or not. White supremacy comes in the form of systemic racism, where you've got entire systems that are built to favor white people and to disfavor black people. You know, I know for a fact that if YouTube was run by a bunch of brothers or a bunch of sisters or a bunch of black people, they would have had no issue with the video. They would have loved the video. They would have gave me an award for the video. But because white folks don't get it, they're like, oh, well, we need to ban this shit. But when y'all come out with y'all's bullshit, where y'all want to act like a dog's life is worth more than a black person, then suddenly we're supposed to get behind that shit like it's normal. It ain't normal. It's stupid. It's a mental illness. That's what it is. It's insanity. It makes no sense. Not on this planet or any planet except your planet. But because you think you own the damn planet, you get to write the damn rules. Because half of the shit that you've seen come out of the liberal establishment, everything from the Me Too movement to the extremities of the LGBT stuff, is like crazy. Doesn't mean that you can't support rights of women. My God, if you're a normal person, of course you support that. Doesn't mean you can't love a person for having a certain sexual preference. I don't care who you're having sex with, but do I really gotta like have you come and tell me that you're gay and then ask me to watch you kiss and then you act like I'm homophobic because I don't want to look at that shit? That ain't homophobic. That's me saying mind your own goddamn business. I don't want to see you doing your thing. Same thing. Me Too movement. I was all for it. At first, I got daughters, right? I got daughters. And I'm like, this is great. We need to call out these sons of bitches who are hurting women. Let's do it. Let's go for it. He committed rape. Let's go investigate and go get him. He assaulted that woman. Well, we need to go get him for that. Oh, he's harassing women. Nah, man, that ain't cool. We're gonna deal with you. But then it gets to the point where literally everybody's like, oh, he touched my booty in 1973. Y'all need to send him to jail. Well, where's your evidence, number one? And then what? Are you traumatized because he touched your booty in 1973? It was 73. That was the 70s. It was a wild time. Can we kind of let that go? Can you put him in some sexual harassment retraining classes? Like, does he really have to go to jail? Is he really the same as a rapist? Like, do y'all really have to make up terms like rape culture that indict everybody with a penis? Like, can't you just say a rapist is a bad person, and if you see one, then go report him to the police and stop it? No, you got to make every man a rapist. So then it's like, oh, well, he looked at me funny. Morgan Freeman, they tried to take Morgan Freeman's ass out after an 80-year career. Some dumb little white chick at CNN gets to go use her white privilege from the network to go try to go on national TV and take down Morgan Freeman after an 80-year career, or however long he's been acting. He's 86, or 80-something years old. So however long his career's been, and take him down because he said something that made her uncomfortable. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's your problem. That's your mental illness. You have power, but you've gone from being the victim to being the predator. You have gone from being victimized to being nothing less than a complete perpetrator. You are far worse than these men out here supporting rape culture. Far worse. I mean, just as bad, if not worse. And the reason is because you out here making stuff up, acting like every man who tells a girl that she's pretty must be a rapist in waiting. Like that ain't normal. That's weird. And so when I watch MSNBC and I see these people on there like, oh yeah, well, you know, she said that, or Morgan Freeman told her she looked good in her dress, and and that traumatized her. Like it's really nothing more than than how absolute power corrupts. Absolutely, you know. And so ultimately, what you're seeing is that the white liberal insanity and white conservatives. I got a whole lot of conversation about them as well, because I watch them. I know a lot of conservatives too, and now y'all need to get off that stuff, just sitting around watching Fox News and listening to religion channels all day and all that, because y'all got the propaganda real bad. But the white liberal insanity is typically expressed in three major areas. It's expressed in the LGBT stuff. It's expressed where everybody's homophobic because you ain't gay, or because, you know, if you're a man and you ain't trying to suck a penis, then you must be filled with toxic masculinity, which somehow makes you engage in the ungodly act of actually wanting to be with a woman, or you are. So it's either the LGBT stuff, the feminist stuff, where it's like now every man who tells a girl she's cute must be a rapist, and then you go into the immigration area. Now we got to act like immigration laws ain't real. That if you are an illegal immigrant, you didn't break the law. But if you a black man selling cocaine in the 1980s, then shit, throw the book at that nigga. Keep him locked up forever. He nonviolent dope dealers from the 80s. Pay attention, people. Listen to me when I say this. Nonviolent dope dealers from the 1980s are still in jail right now. It didn't hurt nobody. All they did was go out here and try to sell some dope to white people so they can make some money to help their mama pay the bills. They did that in the 80s at the age of 17, 18 years old, and are still in jail right now. If you know one of these people, please say his name, say her name right now so everybody knows this person exists. Because the hardest thing about these brothers and sisters that go to prison and get separated from their families is that these white folks act like they don't exist because they're locked away, and it's out of sight, out of mind. Almost the way you take a shit and you flush it down the toilet and you think that the shit goes away just because you flushed it, or you throw out some garbage and you put it in you take it outside and you throw it into the dumpster and they drag it away. You don't care about where it goes. If it goes in the landfill or goes in the ocean, all that matters is that it's gone away. But it didn't go away. It just went somewhere else. So these people, they want to act like these people ain't real. They want to act like they never existed. They want to act like they never had kids. And they act like they don't exist because they went away. And because they went away, in their mind, it's out of sight, out of mind. It's just like the Reality Stone. The white man. Did y'all watch Infinity War? Did y'all see Avengers Infinity War, which came out right after the Black Panther? And you had this villain called Thanos who had all these stones, and one of his stones was the Reality Stone. The Reality Stone means you get to shape the reality into whatever you want. So I could take this room and change the colors and change the clothes I'm wearing, or even change my face and make you see something that isn't real. Well, guess what? These white liberals, they have the Reality Stone. And they can change, they create whatever reality they want. And right now, the reality, the fake, false reality they've created for you right now is this reality that somehow these little 2,000 immigrant kids matter more than 2 million black kids who've been suffering far longer than they have, who live right here in the United States, who are American citizens, who deserve our attention before we're giving it to some kids who are from another country. My heart goes out to them. I don't want to see no child suffer. We know this, but how you gonna go taking care of somebody else's kids before you taking care of your own? Well, the only reason that they're taking care of those kids before they're taking care of our kids is because our kids are not their kids. Our kids are their pets. They look at our kids as lower than their pets because, believe me, they would not let a dog suffer in the conditions that they will allow to exist for a black man. They would not let a dog suffer in the conditions that are as bad as the conditions that black people go through every single day of the week. And the only reason Rachel Maddow and other bigots on MSNBC are all up in arms and all upset and crying on TV and everything else is because they're thinking, my God, Donald Trump, how in the world could you have the audacity to treat these children like they're niggers? Niggers deserve nigger treatment, not immigrants. I mean, we can deal with it when it's happening to the niggers, but when it happens to the immigrants, we can't take it. We can't see a human get treated like something that is less than human. We can't see them being put in inhumane conditions because inhumane conditions are only built for those who are less than human. And black people in this country have always been considered from 300 years ago to be 3/5 of a human being, the 3/5 compromise. Y'all know what I'm talking about, when black people started in this country as property. Now, you cannot tell me that I'm wrong. You cannot tell me that I'm wrong. All the facts and all the evidence support every single thing that I'm saying. All of it. You don't believe me? Go test it. Go out here and try to raise money for black babies who are separated from their families. The stories are worse than the immigrant stories. There are more children than there are immigrant children who are going through this right now. There are more there are more tragedies, more trauma. It's more widespread. So if it's more widespread and there are more people going through it and it's been more prolonged, then why wouldn't you be able to raise more money for it? Because people don't give a fuck. Nobody cares, including the Rachel Maddows of the world. So I'm gonna say this: I did not plan on talking about any of this anymore. I did not plan on talking about it anymore. But I felt compelled to say something because you know, I was really kind of taken aback. I'm like, wait a minute, YouTube. So now, because I made this video about this about how black people feel, you literally have blocked it from being shared with anybody. Like, you're like, well, you can kind of say what you want to say. We're not going to really censor you, but we don't want this. We don't want these ideas spreading. My God, how dare we? We really can't have people out here actually thinking that Black lives matter as much as these immigrant kids. We can't have people disagreeing with how we feel as liberals when it comes to illegal immigration. Because I'm going to tell you like this: black people ain't never really had a chance to have their own conversation about immigration. We need black scholars who care about the black community, who do their own analysis independently of the effects of immigration on the black community and why you got so many kids on the south side of Chicago. I read an article the other day saying that people are leaving Chicago. A lot of black people are leaving Chicago because the job opportunities are leaving too. The job opportunities are not what they used to be. Now, I'm not trying to say it's all connected to illegal immigration, but shit, somebody needs to investigate that shit. Somebody needs to do the analysis. Another thing, there was another article. Go look it up. I think it was either in The Economist or in Bloomberg that showed that one drug cartel. Y'all don't know this. Pay attention. Listen to me when I tell you this. There's one drug cartel in Mexico where they're sending people up across the border to deliver cocaine in Chicago to be distributed throughout the United States. They said this one drug cartel is largely responsible for a very large percentage of the homicides that are occurring in the city of Chicago. They connected it to one cartel. I gotta go find this article. I'm not making this up. So you tell me how illegal immigration, letting anybody and everybody just come across the border just because they feel like it is helping black people. You tell me how it's helping black folks. Because I'm gonna tell you like this, y'all, some of y'all so lost and stupid that if the Democrats told y'all that illegal immigration should be outlawed and it's a bad thing, y'all would go along with that too. You go along with the whole party ticket. And I'm not telling you you can't agree or disagree and have your own opinion. I'm telling you to make sure your opinion is your opinion. Don't be one of these Negroes that's reciting everything that you heard Rachel Maddow say somehow because you think it's gospel. These people don't like you. These people don't care nothing about you. If they cared about you, they would have helped you. If they cared about you, they would have used their reality stone in your favor. But they don't do that. They use their reality stone to manipulate your mind and to create false realities that will get black people in line to support their agenda. You up here buying the gas so you can gas up their car. You like the wife who's buying the gas to gas up her husband's car so he can go have sex with another woman across town. That's what you're doing. They're using you to provide various forms of political fuel that will allow them to go out and pursue the agenda that they think is important, not the agenda that actually matters to you. Do this. Make sure you hit the like button, share button, subscribe button before we move on. I want to show you guys something in a second. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Also, don't forget that if you want to join our social media platform, you can actually go to blagenough.com. That's blagenough.com. So this is our social media platform. Here's how you spell it. And that's our question. Are you black enough? That's what we ask everybody if they want to come in, because we don't discriminate. We don't tell anybody they can't come in. It's just like Facebook, except it's mostly black people. We don't tell you you can't come in. We just say, well, just be ready for a pretty black environment. So you come in there talking crazy and talking white or ridiculous, then they might shut you down. But they're gonna let you speak, but they're gonna come get you. But anyway, that's our platform. We created that because we got tired of playing by the rules of Facebook and everything else. So if you want to move and look into something different, go to Black Enough. Also, don't forget the All Black National Convention takes place in Philadelphia, September 27th through the 30th. We're going to have lots and lots of black people from all over the world, black panels, black screenings. We're going to be doing business. We're going to be talking about educating children, black love. We're going to have all different kinds of stuff. It's going to be like a really fun weekend. It's like a party for smart people. So if you're smart and you're black and you want progress and you want to do something better for the community, the All Black National Convention is where you want to be. So go to allblacknationalconvention.com to get tickets. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. City King says NAACP too. They're not for black folks. The NAACP is a really, they're a decent white organization. Like they really, to be a group of white folks with black skin, they really try hard, but they really don't have the punch that's necessary to really make a difference in the community. That's why you've seen the NAACP get all kinds of money and all kinds of power, but you haven't really seen them do a whole lot with that power. So the NAACP isn't terrible. They're not a complete waste of space, but they're not an organization that I'm interested in. Like I don't even speak at black conventions anymore. I've spoken at NAACP events. I've spoken at Urban League events. I've spoken at National Action Network events, and I just got kind of tired of it. I felt like it was stupid. I felt like it was boring. I felt like it was, I felt like there was nothing being done. I felt like nothing was actually moving forward. I got tired of bowing to white folks. I got tired of hearing you tell me that black liberation is going to be brought to you by Walmart. Black liberation will never be brought to you by Walmart, Target, Kmart, and Coca-Cola. I'm sorry. Get all these fucking corporate sponsors off of your shit. Doesn't mean you can't have relationships and maybe figure out ways to get some funding and some support. The problem is you're taking all this money from all these people. It's going to water you down so bad that you're just going to you literally lose every ounce of your mojo. Everything you needed to be a fighter has been taken away, and you've gone from being a fighter to being a whiner. And you can't even whine that loud or they'll slap the shit out of you. They're just like a little baby, like an abused baby, an abused baby where they like, stop all that crying. That's what they do with the NAACP. That's why Donald Sterling, the biggest racist imaginable, the guy who owned the the Clippers. He owned the LA Clippers. Remember when Donald Sterling was saying all those horrible things about black people and the NAACP in LA, Los Angeles. This is a big branch, right? I mean, LA. This ain't like, Tuscaloosa, Alabama or something. This is Los Angeles. NAACP gave him an award. They gave him an award. So, he just bought that shit. He was like, well, shoot, I've discriminated against black people. I mistreat black people. I need some validation. So I'm going to go down to the NAACP, drop some money off. And these Negroes are so stupid, they'll give me an award. And that's what they did. They gave him an award. So how can somebody respect you when you giving awards to people like Donald Sterling? It doesn't make any sense. So anyway, let me show you, let me bring up something that you guys should know about as well. In case you don't know, in case the Rachel Maddows of the world did not care enough to bring this up, let me show you some conversation that happened on Fly Nubian Queen, which is a network for melanated women, where they were talking about a brother who got shot in the back, a brother out of Pittsburgh. Anybody hear about that story about this brother Antoine Rose, who was shot in the back? If you don't know the story, you should know the story. Antoine was shot in the back by the cops while he was running away. And, fortunately, the people in Pittsburgh, they care enough to actually get out here and fight for this young man. His mother is without her son. His family will never see him again. Again, that's not just a family divided. That's actually a family that's traumatized. And what I want to do is I want to show you all the video, and I'm sure YouTube will probably tell me or ban something about this video because they'll say, well, this is too violent. My God, we will, we'll traumatize, or we can feel empathy for immigrant babies that are allegedly being kept in cages, even though those photos were fake, actually. The ones of them in cages, they had a baby crying in a cage. That was actually a fake picture, just so you know. We can tolerate that, but we don't really want to waste our time seeing a nigga getting shot in the street. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys this video anyway, because everybody needs to see this, and it's real. It's just real. It's what's really happening. I can only show those who are on this side. If you're on Instagram and you can't see it and you want to see it, go to my Facebook page and you can see everything there. Facebook.com/Dr. Boyce Watkins. That's Facebook.com/Dr. Boyce Watkins. So what I'm gonna do is turn this up. Let me turn up the audio right quick. All right, so I'm gonna try to play this. Hopefully I won't hit the wrong button.
Why are they shooting at him? I'm recording this. Why are they shooting? All they did was run and they're shooting at them. Why are they shooting at him? No, I'm recording this. Why are they shooting? All they did was run and they're shooting at them.
So I'll play it one more time.
Why are they shooting at him? No, I'm recording this. Why are they shooting? All they did was run and they're shooting at them.
Okay, so right now, you know, the people of Pittsburgh are doing a very good job of really getting on top of this, and I want to definitely lend my support to them. In fact, if you actually live in Pittsburgh and you're close to the situation, feel free to reach out to me. You know, my manager, her email address is manager@boycewatkins.com, and she can bring you in so you can talk about, or she can bring you in where we can talk about what's happening on the ground. But yeah, this brother was shot, and it's another one of those shootings that didn't make any sense. You know, he wasn't armed or anything. And what I want to show you is a little clip. I like hearing from Black women because I think that Black women's voices are not heard or respected as much as they should be. So Fly Nubian Queen is a platform. You know, I'm a part of it, but really the ladies kind of run it, where they actually talk about these issues and they give a Black female perspective, which you don't really hear. You know, places like The View and The Real, they want to give you like comedy, or they want to give you, you know, the whitewashed kind of conversation. And what I found was that what we all agreed on is that there's a lot of conversation that Black women have that isn't fit for mainstream TV, that isn't ever going to be on CBS, ABC, or NBC. So Fly Nubian Queen kind of represents that. And so this is Michelle Kolchik, who did that viral Bill Cosby video that got millions of views. Patrice Johnson, actually happens to be my daughter, and Lene Javette. And so so check out what the ladies kind of had to say about this, and you can kind of hear that perspective too.
With Antoine Rose, and see where that takes us, and let it go from there. If you have not seen the video, make sure you take an opportunity to go look at the video. I did see the video. I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna let you start this conversation, Michelle, since this was one of the things that you wanted to speak about, and then I'll kind of jump in where I feel appropriate.
Okay. Well, yeah, if you haven't seen the video, go check it out. Just type in Antoine's name. And basically, he is a 17-year-old who was running from the police and got shot 3 times in his back. Now, I want to say from the perspective of that, this is going on at the same time. All of those things are going on with the immigration issues, right? And I want to point out that we have come to a resolution with that. The president signed an executive order, and he has stopped separating those children from their parents effective immediately. So that has been dealt with. But what I find funny is that at the same time that is happening, we are still continuing to talk about the immigration situation. Now we want to talk about how the first lady went to go visit the kids after the fact. There are women with their children showing up to the ICE office somewhere, and they're out there still protesting because they're angry. But y'all got what y'all wanted. Y'all have won this battle. So my question is, why the hell are we still talking about it when at the same time we have, once again, another Black baby who has been shot by these police, okay? For no reason at all. And I'm going to say no reason because we already know they're going to play this game of, you know, well, we stopped him because we thought or because we did. Let's make it clear, the person that was in the car, if you go look into the situation that they did have detained speaking with when the other 2 boys ran, they let him go. So obviously they were not who they were looking for. And we're going to also put out there, because you always got white folks and crazy acting Black folks to say, well, why run? We run from the police because when you don't, it can be detrimental to your life, your physical well-being. And we run because we don't want to be beat down and killed for no reason, right? So to say that he ran that meant anything don't mean nothing. Also, I want people to understand that from a criminal justice perspective, because I do have a degree in that there are levels to force that the police can use, right? And they are not allowed to shoot at someone fleeing in their back, right? There's actually a constitutional case against that was brought to the Supreme Court many, many years ago, because police officers shot about, I think it was a 17-year-old then too, in the back, leaving somebody's backyard because they thought he was suspected for breaking in. But police officers are not allowed to pull out their gun, and they're not supposed to shoot at people unless their life is at risk or other people's life is in danger. But we know that police are trigger happy and they pull out the gun and they shoot you for no reason at all. So now this 17-year-old baby is dead, and he's not going to be reunited with his parents, and there are no executive orders put into place to stop police from doing the shit that they're doing. And I don't know, it just outrages me because this
2 or 3 times in a day.
Now here's another point of view from
Patrice.
Patrice.
Change nothing. So y'all wasting y'all energy, and that's a whole nother conversation.
Okay, Patrice, you want anything? You want to add to that?
I just want to say, Michelle was absolutely right. And just to kind of tag on to what you were saying about the conversation that we had about the immigrants, I really think that the part of the reason why nothing is being done is because you have so many Black people who tag along with let's save everybody else's children. They are too busy giving their energy to other people's children and to other people that they don't have time to give the energy to the people who are right here at home and the people who look exactly like them. So I think that we have to understand that, you know, it's okay to care about everybody, but you also have to understand that where it starts with your own people first, because even though Black people care about everybody, everybody don't care about Black people.
I agree with that. I think that whenever I see these types of situations happen, which unfortunately is becoming daily, sometimes 2 or 3 times in a day, and we were talking about comparing it to the immigrant situation, I think that when it's somebody else and it comes up, it gets national coverage, it's big, celebrities rush to it. When it's a Black child that this happens to, I think that not us as Black people, but and us as Black people, let me both ways, become numb to it, because it's happening so frequently that once or twice is like a coincidence. 10 times, 15 times, 30 times, 100 times, 50 times, 300 times. Come on now, it's not a coincidence anymore. But because it's so regular, it's almost becoming numb, which is why I think people, you get upset, you hashtag, you march, and then you go about your life like everything is cool until it happens again and we're back here. How come we don't keep pushing and progressing and making legislative rules and decisions that make change? We just march, we just get mad, we just fight, we don't follow it through. So when you have a situation like the immigrants and you see how people came to save them and how now they're free and marching, that's what makes us angry. Like, why can't we come together and create something that says you can't kill unarmed Black kids in the back? The thing with the Pittsburgh thing, I was reading this the other day. This story I did actually do some research on, Michelle, before we talked today. And they were talking about Philadelphia, or Pittsburgh is one of the places where you can kill someone, or an officer can shoot if. Okay, so in a news conference, Allegheny County Police Superintendent Coleman McDowell said the shooting could be justified if the officer thought there was an imminent threat of death to the officers or others, or if the fleeing suspect posed the threat. How the hell do you know if the fleeing suspect posed the threat? It's so broad and it's so open, so you can just shoot anybody that you think poses a threat. It's a young kid that's running. You don't know anything about him. You said he was running away, but you could say he was only sitting in Starbucks, but they were only barbecuing at the park, but they were only driving down the street, but they were
only selling cigarettes.
You know what I'm saying? They only had a can of iced tea and some Skittles, wearing a hoodie. Right. So I mean, it's almost like Black people get shot for breathing at this point, but we still worried about some Hispanic kids being taken away from their mothers. Those children get it, as I said before, those children get a second chance. Our children don't. You run away from you try to get away from the negativity and you get killed. But you stick around and you try to answer the questions and you get killed. You wear a jacket with a hoodie, you get killed. You have like I said, you have a bag of Skittles, you get killed. You stand in the park and you have a barbecue, you get killed. So at this point, it's just about extinction. They want to extinct African Americans. So when you give your energy to other people, you have to understand eventually you won't be able to give your energy to nobody because they're gonna kill you off too.
Mm.
Well, you know what? See, this is the thing that I think that I want our people to understand is that what happens to us is very much on purpose, right? And when you talk about talking back or not complying or not doing what they're supposed to do as excuses, that is the same thing as being black on the plantation after slavery was over. And even then, when you went against the master and you went against the law that told you what to do, boy, you're not going to be talking back to me. That's what that is. The police are letting you know, boy, you not finna talk back to me. Nigga, you finna do what I say. And they go on this power trip, and you gonna do what they say, whether you want to or not, or they gonna make you do it. And something I would like to point out is that I don't give a damn about laws, and to be honest, with executive orders and stuff, because the truth is all the things we're discussing, there are laws around all of this shit, but they always find loopholes to get these police officers off. There is never a price to pay, and that's why they continue to do so. And I speak from a professional point of view when I tell you that when it comes to laws and criminal justice, they will teach you that there is a such thing as force with force, meaning officers have many ways of stopping someone, making them not do something to them, and you can only meet force with force. You are only supposed to use deadly force when you are met with deadly force, okay? And forgive me, y'all, that I cannot think of the name of it right now. I quote it all the damn time. Maybe somebody viewing wants to go look it up so we can throw it in there. But there's actually a constitutional law around this specific situation that I've been screaming since Michael Brown, because the court has taken the United States and their laws to court, and the Supreme Court has already ruled that you cannot shoot a fleeing suspect unless they are fleeing with a knife or a gun and they're getting ready to go and kill somebody, and you see them posing a threat to other people at that very moment, then that is different. But this very case that the Supreme Court case was founded on was actually the case of a 16 or 17-year-old black boy.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop it right there. Now, what I thought was interesting about what Michelle Kolchik said, and by the way, you can check these ladies out if you want to see a great network for Black women. FlyNubianQueen.com has some of the realest Black women ever, and so I encourage you to support because we got to listen to our women. That's one weakness of our community. We don't listen to Black women enough, and I think that needs to change. And so go to FlyNubianQueen.com if you want to join that. But anyway, the thing about it is that, there are supposed to be laws that protect Black people in this country. There are supposed to be laws that protect us. There are also laws that are supposed to stop illegal immigration. It's not legal to break into somebody else's country. In our case, they've taken the laws that exist. And actually, in both cases, the similarity is that, white privilege overrides both of them. White privilege ends up kind of trumping. It's funny. You got President Trump, who's the big asshole who likes to trump everything with his presidency, but then you've got the Trump card held by white liberals, which is their white supremacy. It is their white privilege that allows them to trump those laws. So when it comes to Black kids being shot, violations of the Constitution, violation of the laws that say you can't shoot somebody in the back, violations of the law that say you're not supposed to murder another person without getting put on trial, violation of the law that says that as a citizen you have certain rights that you should be, protected with when you deal with the cops. All those laws get trumped by white privilege. These white folks, these same liberal white folks on MSNBC and whoever, they won't even indict the cop who goes up on trial for murdering a Black person. And simultaneously, when it comes to immigration law says quite clearly that you can't walk up in somebody else's country and act like you live there. You can't do it. They're not going to treat you like you're a citizen because you're not a citizen. You're just a person who's trying to break in. And they just said, you know what? That law, we don't like that law, so we're going to ignore that. We're going to ignore that law. That's, again, white privilege 101 and white privilege 102. Another example of white privilege that connects to this is it's almost like when O.J. Simpson went on trial for killing that white woman. Again, the laws got trumped by white supremacy. White privilege trumped all the law. The law says that when you go on trial, you are innocent till proven guilty. That law was trumped by white supremacy, where they said, no, nigga, you guilty, and you ain't never going to be able to be proven innocent because we don't believe you're innocent. You killed a white woman, and for hundreds of years, we've been trained on a subconscious level to hate any black person who we think will harm a white female. That's why they made that movie, the same one, the Nate Parker movie. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Somebody give me the name of that movie. That movie they made with a Klansman were protecting white people from all these crazy black people trying to go and murder and harm white women. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Birth of a Nation, Birth of a Nation. They said, no. Said for hundreds of years, if you were black and you got accused of hurting a white person, that is no different from a dog deciding it wants to eat its master or eat the baby. If the dog eats the baby, the dog gonna get shot. It don't matter if it's the baby's fault. It don't matter if the dog was hungry. It don't matter if the dog thought the baby's leg was a piece of chicken. It don't matter if the dog didn't do it. It don't matter. What matters is that we think that the dog was a threat to the baby, so the dog will get shot. The baby will not be held accountable. Well, the same thing is true when it comes to a black man accused of harming a white woman. They said it don't matter. It don't really matter if you're innocent. It don't matter if Nicole Brown Simpson was a piece of trash before she died. It don't matter if you're found innocent by the court of law. It don't matter, because we decided based on our white privilege that you are guilty. So most of these laws that you think give you black power, these civil rights laws that you feel that we gained in the 1960s, that's, again, like I was telling you about Thanos from the Infinity Wars, the Reality Stone. Remember, he's a villain in the Infinity Wars. He had the Reality Stone that could shape reality. All of that is white privilege using their Reality Stone to create a reality around you to make you think the world is something other than what it is. You have been led to believe that you have certain rights that will always protect you no matter what. No, you don't. You've been led to believe that these laws will protect you if white folks decide to come get you. No, they won't. Just ask the people who built Black Wall Street. No, they won't. You've been led to believe that that you are as human as any white person or as any immigrant, etc. But no, you're not. You're not. Not in their eyes. If the evidence is right there, the evidence is right there. You put any white woman through 1/10 of what an average black person goes through in a given day, and they scream bloody murder. They scream bloody murder because literally subconsciously they're saying, well, this treatment is okay for a nigga, but it's not okay for a dog, not okay for an immigrant, and certainly not okay for a white person. But a black person can go through it, and I mean, damn, they black, so those people can handle it. Those people don't feel the pain. Studies actually show that. There are actually studies. Look this up. Google this, please. In fact, I'll Google it while I'm talking to you about it. There are studies that show that white people believe that black people feel less pain. Let me see here. Let me find it. Black people feel less pain. Let me see if I can find this study real quick. Yeah, they explained in the Washington Post. They actually reported on this, and they said that some African American patients, when they go see doctors, may not be treated for pain as readily as if they were white, because subconsciously, black and white people believe black people feel less pain. This goes back to slavery. When you had that one doctor who was named the father of modern gynecology, I gotta look his name up. Somebody say his name so I know his name. But they had a statue for this son of a bitch, and he used to do the most horrendous experiments on black women because he said, well, they're Negroes. Negroes don't feel as much pain, so we can go ahead, we can cut her uterus out of her body with no anesthesia. We can go in and do these crazy things to her body because she's black. So it's just like doing that to a dog. But I don't think they do it to a dog because they empathize with dogs. They love their dogs. They don't love you. When you talk about Trump and the laws with white privilege, another example where white privilege trumped the law is the whole Me Too movement. The whole Me Too movement ain't nothing but a mass temper tantrum on behalf of white women, where they feel that they deserve the right to have a vendetta against any man who's ever hurt them or disappointed them their whole entire life. So any man who ever didn't try to get some from you, or didn't give you the promotion that you wanted, or made you hurt your feelings, or didn't marry you, or piss you off on the job, you get to go back and ignore the statute of limitations. Again, remember I told you white privilege trumps the law, right? So they said we're not going to pay attention to the statute of limitations. When it came to Bill Cosby, they didn't care about needing evidence. They trumped the law. They didn't care about the fact that this stuff, that they didn't have any proof and that it allegedly happened way back. Didn't matter. Didn't matter. White privilege trumps the law. Do you understand? So while you looking at the White House and thinking that you got your only Trump in the White House, you got Trumps all around you, because that white man playing that Trump card on you every day of the week. Just like spades. Like he got the big joker on your ass, and he's slamming it on top of any card that you try to play. You play the black card, big joker, nigga. That's what they do to you. So you're literally getting Trump. Every law that protects you gets Trump. Every law that benefits you gets Trump. Any law that does not benefit the whims of the white liberal establishment ultimately gets Trump. And you see it no more clearly than this situation going on with the illegal immigrants. I never understood the immigration conversation from the beginning, because I never understood, before I even understood the politics, before I read a single article about it, I said, wait a minute. How is it that people can just cross the border and not tell nobody and not file no paperwork, and we're supposed to act like that's okay? That's not okay. You can't do that. Like that doesn't even add up. That doesn't make it. I'm like, I don't understand that. I'm not saying I don't want you to be here. I'm just saying that the shit don't make no damn sense. But then when you understand white supremacy, it's like, oh, I get it. Y'all played the white man's trump card, the white woman's trump card. They both got a trump card. They got the big joker and the little joker. The white woman has the big joker. Just be clear. The white woman got the big joker. The white man got the little joker. Because the war on women, they all, Hillary Clinton always talk about the war on women. No, the war on women has ended, and women won that shit. Women won. Give it another 50 years, you're going to see the most emasculated society you've ever seen. Men are going to go on their jobs. They're going to be scared to ask women on a date. Men will not be getting married because they're going to be afraid of having somebody falsely accuse them of something or take all their stuff or whatever. Like they don't understand. They're ruining their society because they have been attacking men so much. And I'm not saying you shouldn't attack the bad men, but you're attacking the good men too. You're attacking the men that actually want to do something right in the world. And that pretty much at that point makes you into a predator, no differently from the predators that you claim that you're protecting yourself from. Thankfully, the reason I'm glad to be black and proud to be black, happy to be black, is because we got a lot of black women, I think, that have more sense than that. Most black women I know expect to be respected, expect to be treated well. They won't tolerate disrespect, but they know their friends from their enemies, and they know their allies from their adversaries. And I don't think the white females know that. I think that in their mind, it's like they've become the ultimate villain. Like, we will conquer all of this. We will run the world. Even Beyonce gets caught up in some of that feminism stuff. Not all the time, not completely. But you remember that song, "Girls, We Run the World, We Run the World." He cooks my food and then gives me some. And I'm like, damn, she sounds like a man. Like cook me some dinner, bitch, and take me to Red Lobster. Or I might take you to Red Lobster. You know what I'm talking about? Like it's really like that aggressive. And I just don't think it's healthy. I don't think it works. I don't think it's balanced. But anyway, we got into a lot of topics. I just want to say, here's my summary in all of this. My summary is that white liberals are crazy, especially the extreme ones. That's why I can only roll with them so much. There's only so much I can hear. In fact, what really got me, what first got me off of that bandwagon was back in the day when I thought I was liberal, when I was much younger. Because when you're black, you don't know you have choices. And I remember hearing a white woman tell me, like, I was talking about racism and how badly black people are treated in America and all. Now, this is back in the 90s. Wasn't nobody listening to none of this in the 90s. And she said, well, no, the answer is we don't need to fix racism. We need to cure poverty. If we cure poverty, then we can fix the mistreatment of black people. And I said, so to deal with racism and mass incarceration, I got to find a way to cure poverty? Is that what I got to try to do? Like, that's a lot of work. I just want to get my cousin out of prison. Like really, it was like that. And that's when I started thinking, like, I don't really think these people are our friends. But I had to kind of figure that out on my own. So when I watch people like the Rachel Maddows on TV and all that, by the way, if you're on Instagram, I'm going to hang up and bring you guys right back because it looks like the time's almost up on Instagram. But when I look at the Rachel Maddows and others on MSNBC and all that, I don't see allies. Because nobody is your ally if they always put you at the back of the bus. Nobody's your ally if they always put their needs and their wants ahead of yours. People are not your ally if they use you for a while and then they dispose of you. In fact, you saw with MSNBC, when Obama got elected, they hired a whole bunch of black people. I mean, MSNBC looked like Negro Central. They had so many black commentators they hired on MSNBC because they needed Negro whisperers to talk about the president, like, oh, he said something black. What did he mean? What did that mean? Right? And then what happened? And I had some friends that predicted this. They predicted that as soon as Obama was out of office, all these Negroes would lose their job. Well, guess what happened? As soon as Obama was gone, slowly they were out. Melissa Harris Perry, boop. Al Sharpton, boop. All them other black people, the guy Torre, boop. A bunch of other black people they had on the air, boop. I think they're getting rid of that one black lady, Joanne Reed. Did they dump her too? Because I know they was going in on her too because she wasn't going along with the white liberal social engineering. They have a protocol. They have a set of things beliefs and ideas that you must represent. If you deviate from that, then you will be punished. And so I think she deviated. She wrote some blog posts back in the day where she made the mistake of really acting too black. And next thing you know, it was like, oh, Joanne Reed? Boop. So I don't know. She might still be on there. She might have survived, but I remember they were going at her pretty hard for a minute. And that's one of the reasons why I never wanted a job with any of those networks, because I had meetings with those people. I met the president of MSNBC. Al Sharpton introduced me to the president of MSNBC. And I think that it probably took them 30 seconds to realize I was not that guy. I don't know what they were looking for. I don't know why the meeting happened, but I was introduced to the president of MSNBC, and I think they were feeling me out. And I think that they researched me or whatever and realized this is not the right guy. And I think that was a smart move, because if I'd gone into that environment and been in there too much, there would have been a lot of clashing, a lot of fighting, because they don't support a black agenda. So what we got to do as black people is we have to build our own media. We have to build our own spaces. We have to develop our own platforms. So I'm really asking you right now to support, be a part of this. While you're watching this video, this is social media. This is our greatest opportunity we've ever had. Take this opportunity, share this video as far and wide as you can, push the conversation, have the discussion. If you want to see the video I did on Rachel Maddow, the one that caused YouTube to go crazy or whatever, feel free to go look at it. It's on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Dr. Boyce Watkins. Or if you type Boyce Watkins and Rachel Maddow into YouTube, you'll find the video. Feel free to join our social media platform where we have open discussions. You can go to blaggenuff.com. That's BLAGGENUF. Blaggenuff.com. BLAGGENUF. Also, don't forget, if you feel inclined to want to hang out with black folks and really kind of get the real deal, get your strategies right, meet with black people that are going to support you and not think you're crazy and really help you out, come to the All Black National Convention. That's going to be late September. It's in Philadelphia. You can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. In fact, today is the 22nd. I think up until the evening of the 24th, you can actually get your tickets at a 40% discount. Use the code word LIBERATION. If you use the code word LIBERATION, you can get your tickets 40% off if you get them, I think, before the 24th. But you can wait too. It's totally fine if you want to wait. It's totally up to you. All right, guys. So make sure you hit the like button, share button, subscribe button to pass this stuff around and all that stuff. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. It was real. I appreciate having a bunch of crazy Negroes who can make my crazy ass feel better, because I like being crazy. I like being radical. I don't want to fit in. I don't want to be average. I don't want to be like everybody else. I don't want to be mainstream. I don't want to go along with the bandwagon. I don't want to join your bandwagon because I'm marching to the beat of my own drum, or I want to play my own instrument. I don't want to walk down the beaten path. I want to walk off the beaten path, because ain't nothing on the beaten path except another fucking beating. And I ain't out here trying to get beat. I'm out here trying to do some beating myself. I'm out here trying to do some winning for black people. And I don't think we're ever going to win if we walk down the beaten path where all we're going to do is get another beating. We've been taking beatings for 400 years. It's time for us to stand up and be strong and independent. And we can do that if we stick together and push hard. And I just encourage you to take your ideas and stand by them, be firm, respect other people, but do not let them disrespect you. So I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day, and I love you, and I'll see you soon. Be good.